Hey guys, welcome back. This is Drew. I'm going to get going on this Revell 148 scale F-15C Eagle. Now I did do a inbox review of this kit almost a year ago, so it's been on my shelf and I keep looking at it going, this might be pretty cool. I'll put a link for the inbox review in the description and also at the very end of this video. I probably will break this up into parts, and I might have a full compilation video as well. But this is an old kit. It's actually a 1979 tooling, and of course it's reboxed now. But from what I've seen, it goes together okay. Just, you know, when you're getting an older Revell kit, you're going to get some decent details, but there might be some fit issues. So we're going to get going on it. And again, thanks for joining my channel. If you haven't subbed yet, I'd appreciate it. That would help me out. And stay tuned for my build videos, and let's get going on this. Okay, so typical with most planes, we're going to start with the cockpit assembly. Looks like it also has the front wheel well that goes on the bottom of the cockpit assembly, and we're eventually going to put that into the cockpit halves. So it actually looks like I'm just going to maybe start doing some priming and getting ready for the main cockpit color and painting up some of the details. So all right, we'll get going on that. So the instrument panel, first of all, there's no decal for it, so it does have some raised dials and things like that, so allow you the opportunity to do some dry brushing and make it pop out a little bit. And here is the ejection seat. Okay, so I got all the interior parts with primed with the Stynylrez black, and now I'm going to paint the cockpit and the interior sidewalls dark gold gray. This is FS36231, and I did mask off the instrument panels on the side, and those are supposed to stay black, so I just put some masking tape on those, and yeah, so here we go. Okay guys, so I did a lot of things off camera, and I really didn't spend a lot of time detailing the cockpit. Just not going to see much, and I'm not real good at it. But really, all I do is once I get the paint down, I just take a extra fine Sharpie marker, and I just go through and I color in the instruments, and then I take a white. This is just a white Crayola color pencil, and I can just go through and highlight the dials. There's not a lot of color in these things, and so when the canopy closed and looking at it from a distance, it's not going to be a whole lot to see. The seat, it's pretty basic. I painted up the belts and the buckles, and did a little bit of research, and also when I saw other modelers on YouTube building an F-15C, behind the pilot seat, because this is the F-15C is a one pilot job. This is the avionics bay, and they were painted in a metallic bluish green color, and so I went ahead and painted with Tamiya's X13 metallic blue, and because the instructions just call for it to be all gray, so but I think it looks pretty cool. And I was going to put a wash on all this, but when you get it, when this goes in, the wrong way. When it goes in, you won't see any of that, so I'm not going to worry about all that. So I'm just going to put all this together and start moving on to some sub-assemblies. So where I'm at is I've got all this completed. I don't put the landing gear in until the very last part of the build, so I'm leaving this off, because I just don't want those on there, because you got to paint the underside, and if you put the landing gear in, you have to paint them, mask everything off and paint those. So I'll leave those off, and they also have some antennas here that you go inside, that you glue inside the fuselage, and you can see sticking out like that. Here's this side, this will be the port side, so you can see. So I've got those in, and so it looks like we're ready to close it up. So this here, Okay, so let me tell you what I've got here. Things really didn't line up well. If you move something left or right as you're trying to fit it together, something on is just going to be off. So I'll just go with it. There was some pretty significant overlap on this side. That would be the starboard side of the fuselage area. So I've already started sanding that smooth. Just taking some sanding sticks and getting after it to get rid of that overlap. And then I've actually, when I put it together, I actually cut the locator pins off, because when I used those, things were even off more. And so, you can see like little small areas where there's a little tiny little gap there. A lot of this part will be covered by the wings, but I want to get it nice and smooth, so the wings will sit flush. On the front nose piece, again, things didn't quite line up as well. Again, you can actually see right here, it's kind of off kilter. So if you moved it this way, that would cause this not to line up correctly. So it's kind of a win-lose. So I'm just gonna have to go with it, and have a few gaps right here that's gonna need to be filled. It's kind of hard to see in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand these a little bit and then apply some filler. There's some raised detail. I'm gonna try my best not to obliterate that, but I can always rescribe something this small, and it's going to be on the bottom, and nobody's really going to see it. You can always, just do a scribe, and it'll give the illusion of being part of that regular raised panel line. But otherwise, the biggest fit issue I had so far was the cockpit tub. And let me show you, because I handled a lot of this off camera. So if you remember, you glue this together, and I glued that together early in the video, and then it basically just fits inside the fuselage. Well, I'm going to really recommend that you not glue these together, because when I had them glued together and I inserted it into the cockpit and got the or I inserted it into the fuselage and got the cockpit lined up, there was basically the bottom part did not line up with this. I mean, and so you look in there, you still actually see a gap. There's a little gap right there, but it was even worse. And so what I had to do was gently coerce the two parts apart. So I basically took this part off, glued it in separate, and then glued the main cockpit tub in above it, to try to remove the gap so it didn't line up. I should be able to kind of fill that in with some Vallejo putty and just water-based putty and smooth it out where it's not prominent. But let me remind you, we're dealing with a kit. If you can see that, Revell 1979. So the mold is getting a little tired. Things are not lining up correctly, but I'm going to persevere, and hopefully it'll come out looking good. And that's why. So for now, I'm going to keep sanding, and then I'm going to sand this join, this up here. Try my best to get those smooth, and then apply a little bit of filler along here, and then it's going to be ready to go inside this area. And I did a little test fit, and there's going to be a gap as well there. So there's going to be a gap right here, but I can probably fill that. But yeah, there's going to be a gap right around here. So away it goes with these older kits. So we'll get there. All right, stay tuned. I use tape along the seam lines to try to avoid obliterating any raised detail. So I'm about to attach the wings, and look at the size of these pen marks, and they're raised. And you're not going to get a good flush, seal with those like that. So they're on all the wings, on the inside of the wings, whether you join the two halves together. It's raised, so I'm just going to have to sand those down. Good gosh. All right, more sanding. So I fiddled for a long time with these intake pieces, trying to get them to fit. Then I realized the instructions were wrong, and they had the pieces reversed. And so yeah, another mistake in the instructions. All right, let's see if we can get this nose piece in. There are two little tabs. I test fitted it and they don't fit, and so I cut this one off. The little tabs are supposed to go in between these joint areas right here. So I cut one of them off just so I can get it to fit better. So let's see here. Okay, so that one's in. And then, all right. Looks like I'm going to cut both of them off because it's just not fitting. So let me cut this one off here. And we will just use glue. Let's see what that does. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. It does not fit at all. Look at the gaps. And then when you do get one of them, one side flush, the other side is way off. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Boy. You know, I hate to say a kit defeats me, but this one might. That is horrible. Look at that. And look at the wing root gaps. I got gaps here, gaps there. Gaps here, gaps there. I gotta sand some more here, sand some more here. And look at this. Oh. I don't know, guys. I about kind of lost my patience with it. Okay, that's even. Let me show you again. So it still needs some work. There's a gap there, and it's not quite even, but that's the best I can get it. If I push down hard, and then I turn it over. Look at that. I don't know, guys. I'll make a decision and figure it out. Awful.